Hey, welcome to the channel. I'm Musically Malnourished, and you're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. We are diving into the 2022 album from Aurora called The Gods We Can Touch. Now, we have been through All My Demons Greeting Me as a Friend, Infections of a Different Kind, Step 1, A Different Kind of Human, Step 2, and now here we are in The Gods We Can Touch. Something interesting about this album, I'll read this quote here. It says, "The Gods We Can Touch, an elegant but provocative album, about shame, desire, and morality, seen through the narrative prism of Greek mythology. In each of the album's songs, we meet a different god. On Exist for Love, it's Aphrodite. We also meet Persephone, Queen of the Damned, on Heathens, Morpheus, This Could Be a Dream, and Pytho, the personification of seduction and persuasion in A Dangerous Thing. The Greeks had gods and goddesses for everything. Aurora notes, for anxiety, for wine, for sex. Long ago, when this concept of gods and goddesses started, they were more human, more relatable, and almost touchable. Most importantly, they had flaws." You know, and this is an interesting follow-up to A Different Kind of Human, because obviously at the end of that album, that's what she says, is like, basically, in this girl, be the god that you could touch. I don't know if that's the exact quote, but something close to that, which essentially she's saying, like, be the presence that you want to see on earth, be the change that you want to see, like, be love, be kindness. I think even she would go as far as to say, be anger, you know, like the good, righteous kind of anger, the things that lead us to address issues in the earth. And Aurora has obviously done that on a few different fronts, especially when it comes to children, you know, and being an advocate for children. And so should be very interesting. As always, we'll listen to each song. I have my handy dandy notebook here, so I'll take some notes as we're listening, things that stand out to me. So at the end of each song, we'll kind of talk about it. I try not to interrupt as we're listening, and we'll have a good time together. So let's go ahead and get in to track number 1, The Forbidden Fruits of Eden. This one's only 40 seconds long. Let's let it roll into the next song. We'll talk about them both together after. I'm just setting the mood for us, you know. Okay, a little acoustic guitar.
I'm driving your car with you, sleeping in the seat next to me like a baby. You twist and you turn.
They're kind of like operatic.
Traveling fast like a bird in a dream. Look at it go, look at it dance over the sky like a rocket. A love machine, a cinematic dream, so pure, and it hurts when the beauty is lost in the speed, 'cause everything matters to me. To me, you're a part of the dawn where the light comes from the dark.
These are like
You're a part of the morning and everything matters. So we are an atom and a star. You're a part of the movement and everything matters. I'm watching a storm turn into form in the clouds of the world like a burst. It dances and
That's so cool.
on top of the world. It is good and it hurts. Look at it go, look at it dance over the sky like a rocket. A teacher, a simulated dream, a cure for the hurt and the pleasure you feel is real. You're a part of the dawn where the light comes from the dark. You're a part of the morning and everything matters. And we are an atom and a star. You're a part of the movement and everything matters. Quelque part avant l'aube, quand la lumière veut nous voir, quelque part
French.
dans le monde en noir.
This is Pomme.
Sans bruit, toi et moi, dans la nuit on trouvera quelque part.
So beautiful.
Poser les fleurs qu'on accueille par avant l'aube, quand la lumière veut nous voir, quelque part dans le monde un oiseau s'endort sans bruit, toi et moi, dans la nuit on trouvera quelque part où déposer les fleurs qu'on accueille par avant l'aube, quand la lumière veut nous voir, quelque part dans le monde un oiseau s'endort sans bruit, toi et moi, dans la nuit on trouvera quelque part.
I always love when artists keep in, like at the end, you could just barely hear like the letting up either of a pedal, probably a sustained pedal from whatever piano is being played. So it sounds like they recorded live piano for this. But you could kind of hear them letting off of the sustained pedal or shifting around in their seat. Man, I really was hoping to hear Pomme, I think is how you pronounce it, that da 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 in whatever French phrasing it would be. I thought that would have been really beautiful. Totally fine that we didn't get that, but that melody was just really, it's beautiful and kind of haunting with this track because you have those two elements. You have this really great bass line in there. And then Aurora always surprises me. Not so much anymore now that we're several projects in with her, but one of the things I didn't expect was these really cool trap type beats that she does. And even on this, it's kind of crossing into some, I want to say like rap, hip hop, alt rock type things that to me, to the low effect on the voice, to me. Those are things that a lot of times you find in some EDM music, some rap and hip hop beats, some alt rock type stuff. And so that took me off guard, and that kind of creates, as well as with the trap beat and then the beautiful piano, those kind of two extremes, you know, of this kind of haunting presence beneath, and then the kind of operatic phrasing that she does. Really cool song, man. Okay, so first let's do this. Let's go to the first song, because she did say, even though it's a very kind of simple thing in there, it's just her humming or singing, is vocalizing and harmonizing with herself. This is what was said about it. I wanted to offer a space to kind of dive into yourself and touch your own divinity. Excuse me. And that exists somewhere deep within yourself. I wanted to feel holy, like some kind of ritual musically. And I think somebody made a comment, yeah. The Greek god it was inspired by was Gaia, the goddess and personification of the earth. So just a little tidbit there on the first track, the intro. Now let's go into here. We do get a translation for Pomme in here. I was so fixated, like the music was catch me so off guard. It took me a minute to even begin to pay attention to the lyrics. And by that time we were into French. So we'll take a look at it. Okay. Everything Matters, second track, fifth single. In an interview, Aurora said, "I do often feel like this world is trying to make me focus on all these great miracles, and somehow I feel like it makes me miss out on the small ones, and that is sad, because the small miracles happen all the time, sometimes several times a day, and I want to see all of them because everything matters." It was inspired by Atlas, a titan who was condemned to hold up the heavens and the sky for an eternity after the Titanomachy? A 10-year series of battles between the Titans and the Olympians. She said, "I don't normally do features. I knew a bit about Pomme because she's extremely sweet and very talented. I wanted to include some Frenchness on the opening song as a gift to the castle that gave me a lot of the inspiration to finish this album. I asked her if she could write the ending of my song in French, and she wrote a beautiful story about the flowers we picked in all of your favorite places. It is an ode to Rosendale. It is a very strange story, a story I would like for people out there to figure out themselves. I contacted a French artist to write the ending for me. It's beautiful, sensual, and real. I do often feel like this world is trying to make me focus on all these great miracles. I miss the small ones." Okay, so that's the repeating of what we read. I do want to speak to that real quick, and then we'll kind of get into the rest of all this. No, I fully agree with that. I think one of the challenges and downfalls of a lot of us is we're always fixated on the highs of life, the big moments. And those are wonderful, and we should celebrate those. But we can fall into this trap of not seeing the beauty in the mundane. And I know that's a big challenge, and it's even more challenging when you're walking through something difficult, but sometimes even when we're walking through something difficult, the best way to get through that is to find, and not to be too dismissive of the situations we can find ourselves in, okay? Because it looks, what I was going to say is we kind of have to find maybe not even the silver lining, because the silver lining is often find the good in the situation. Sometimes some situations are so bad, I think it is dismissive to say, well, find the good in it. Let's just take a tragedy that I don't know you find a good in, the loss of a child. If somebody told you to find the silver lining in the midst of your sorrow at the loss of a child, you want to throw fingers up at them, right? If not throw hands. That would be an incredibly insensitive and dismissive thing to say. And so I don't know that it's the silver lining in that. I don't think there is a silver lining in that. But if you are able, in the midst of tragedy, difficulty, or just a day you feel like crap, and not even like you have to feel sick, you may just motivation may feel gone, you may feel for no apparent reason just dude, I don't want to today. The ability to find some small beauty in life or in the day, whether that's the sky, whether that's somebody that loves you or you love them, or, if you got to dig real deep, you have a job you hate going to, but you do have a job. You know what I mean? Sometimes you've got to scrape the bottom of the barrel especially when it is difficult to find good things in life. And so, that's one instance of it. But I just think in the mundane actions of our days, being able to find little joys, these little miracles even, I think is really important versus just always living for the next big thing. I'm driving your car with you sleeping in the seat next to me. Like a baby, you twist and you turn. You're traveling fast like a bird in a dream. That's cool. Birds are really fast, so a bird in a dream be really fast. Look at it go. Look at it dance over the sky like a rocket, a love machine, a cinematic dream. So pure, and it hurts when the beauty is lost in the speed. Wow. That is a banger of a line. Yeah, okay, because if you do imagine, a bird some birds seem to move a little slower than others, but especially like in my backyard, I hung up a bird feeder last spring and loved it. I started getting tons of different birds showing up, and some of them move different than others, but there are some that like swoop in, move really quickly around, they swoop back out. And so you imagine a bird like that. It's not until you honestly could see a bird in slow-mo, like especially if you go watch the slow-mo videos of like hummingbirds, because their wings move so fast, that you can then really appreciate the poetry in their motion. And so I love that idea. So pure, and it hurts when the beauty is lost in the speed, that it's not until you're able to slow down and notice just the intricacy and the poetry and the beauty within their movement, which obviously she's wanting us to translate into life. We go about life every day, all day, sometimes seeing the same things, but sometimes losing the context and not being able to see the beauty that is in so many things. Because everything matters to me. Yeah, and I think this is the idea, maybe don't be dismissive of the small things in life. You're a part of the dawn where the light comes from the dark. You're a part of the morning and everything matters. Here we are, an atom and a star. Oh, that's a throwback line. Well, sort of, right? I'm an atom in the sun, I think is what she said in, maybe it references it here. No, we'll go find it because it's not saying it in here. I know what song it is. I just can't think of the title of it. Hold on. It's one of my favorites. I think it was Dance on the Moon. Let's go this way. Right? Because it was like this picture of almost her inside of her room. Oh, I'm an angel. I'm an atom. Okay. Well, at least I knew there was something similar to that. I'm watching a storm turn into form in the clouds of the world like a burst. It dances and it twirls on top of the world. It is good and it hurts. Look at it go, look at it dance over the sky like a rocket, a teacher, a simulated dream, a cure for the hurt, and the pleasure you feel is real. Okay, so here is Pomme's lines. Somewhere before the dawn, when the light wants to see us, somewhere in the world, a bird falls asleep without noise. You and me in the night will find, somewhere to lay the flowers we gathered. Go before the dawn, when the light wants to see us, somewhere in the world, a bird falls asleep without noise. Okay, it's repeated. Okay, and then she repeats it. All right, it's very pretty. Let me know your thoughts if you have any other thoughts around that song. All right, let me get us back into this album. All right, we'll move into track 3, titled Giving In to the Love.
I'm tired of the rules and your corrections. I want to live my life, be all of its pages, and underline that I am not.
It's cool layers.
An angel. 'Cause if I'm not pure, I guess that I'm too much. I'll never know how to keep in touch. If I'll be somebody, I'll never let my skin decide for me. I never had a world, so I changed for
I love when she reaches that tone.
the world, so I changed for it. Get into the love, get into the love, get into the love, the love. Someone out there is trying to find somebody whole who
You already know we're dancing. All right, I'm ready to open a club in the forest, and all we play is Aurora music. Oh my gosh, dude. What? I mean, dude, her beats are so good. There are a few songs that make me want to dance as much as Aurora's so consistently. Oh, I did want to talk about this cover art. I'd be curious. I feel like it is meant to represent one kind of an otherworldly figure. You know, the way you might perceive a godlike type, like a godlike character. And also probably meant to represent multiple facets, whether it's meant to represent the different gods or kind of all of these different factors or different, what's the word I'm trying to say? I don't want to say different sides, but all these things are meant to be present in us, right? You want, if we take the fruit of the Spirit, for example, Galatians 5, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. It's like you want all of those present in you. And sometimes you're going to be better at others, you know, or just your personality, the way that you've been created, like you might find that, I don't know, we all exhibit those in different levels, right? And we're growing in some more than others, but the hope is that all of those are present in us, and we're trying to give some attention to each of those. And so there are these kind of like multiple facets of our personalities and who we are as people. So I feel like that's probably a few things that are trying to be communicated through the cover art. Okay, we got some comments from Aurora. I love very big, powerful drums. Me too. To me, that's very native. I agree. It's something ancient. I love when music touches that place. I actually wrote that song, and she's so good at that, right? I actually wrote that song at the last minute. I'd already finished the album and mastered it. Wow. But then I wanted to have Giving Into the Love on it. So it's actually the demo. I never got the chance to completely mix it. It's very unpolished. Well, you could have fooled me. I was thinking about Prometheus and how he stole the fire to sculpt us, the humans. I feel like we sometimes forget we are living creatures capable of so many beautiful things. And the human's current obsession with beauty makes us forget and devalue the fire that rests within us, our inner self, and most important part. My favorite line from my new single, Giving Into the Love, I think is a line that to me reflects a bit how I feel about the word now, which is, and everybody cries and nobody comforts, which is sad. Oh, okay. Wait. I feel the world now is. Oh, the line, and everybody cries and nobody comforts, which is very sad. Because I mean, that's an interesting line because it could speak to, number one, an increase in maybe sadness, depression, which is a strange anomaly in the world that I think we can kind of wrap our heads around. But you're also like, man, how are we feeling like we're regressing as people as we progress technologically? But ultimately, that's because we disconnect from many of the parts that make us human and ultimately give us most joy. It is not possessions. It is not having our attention diverted. Still as people, we find the most joy and life and peace in connecting to others, connecting to that which is real and tangible. And so the more we disconnect from that, the more we become dissatisfied as people. And so it could be part of that, right? Everybody cries, but it could also just be an idea of like a selfishness as well, that everybody cries, but less people are turning to comfort one another. Let me know if you have different thoughts on that. It's funny because, even in this line, look, she says, the television lies and now my mind hurts. So it kind of connects with what I was talking about as well, is this like this consumption of the synthetic, right? Oh, man. Leave it to Aurora to put our feet back on the earth. Okay. Track number 4, titled Cure for Me.
I run from the liars, the fuel on the fire. I know I created myself. I know I can't fight the sad days and bad nights, but I never asked for your help. You got hurt, but we don't belong together. So you took the love from my arms into the
Let's lean into some more effects.
but I don't need a cure for me. I don't need it. No, I don't need a cure for me.
This beat sounds familiar.
I don't need it. No, I don't need a cure for me. I don't like the tension, the misapprehensions about our nature in love. The glorious teachers are no use for creatures who knows how to play with the gods. You got nerves, but they never show
That organ, like vintage organ, arcadish sound was definitely not something I was expecting whatsoever. And I wonder if the heart behind the song is she trying to ultimately say, like, don't try to fix me. Like somebody thinks that they need a cure for her, they need to change her. And she's like saying, don't worry about me. Like, I don't need a cure for me. The beat almost sounded a little bit I didn't know if it was sampled from something. I don't think that it is. But it just sounds so familiar to me. A few other things. I love the way that that kind of arcadish sound was coming in and out, kind of like swelling at these points. You know, it was slowly rising and then it boom, went straight in, obviously with the chorus and everything that kind of comes back out, then kind of makes its way back in. It's a really cool way of, I started messing with some music production stuff, so I'm listening to things completely different now and trying to remember some of these things. And I'm like, oh, that's a cool effect, you know, just letting that sound slowly creep back in until it reaches full pitch and then drop it back out. I also love when people hum with the beat. There was a point that it was bum 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 bum. I think that's the beat that it was on, and she was dun 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 dun. You know, like singing along or humming along or bebopping, whatever you want to call it, along with the beat. I think is really cool. Okay, let's see what's said here. She said, it's quite a strange song. I think some people may really like it. Some people may not. Like always, I got inspired by a really huge, dark, and horrible thing that happens in the world. The first seed of inspiration came from thinking about the countries where it's still legal, to do conversion therapy for gay people and lesbians. I just thought that's so pointless. The first idea was me saying, I don't need a cure for me. Just let me live, man. Why is it so difficult for people to just let others be themselves? Then I thought that it could mean many other things. People tend to believe quite quickly that something is wrong with them if they're not like the people they see in front of them. It's so sad that it doesn't take much for us to really doubt ourselves. Cure for Me has something in common with the album in that I'm experimenting with new things and new sides of me. It's easy for me to make a really Aurora album that feels like nature and Mother Earth. That comes really natural to me. So I'm really enjoying doing something different. This is my 3rd and a half album, and it's about time in my mind to just play around and do something different. Yeah, I mean, I'm totally here for that. And I think that, you know, I mean, every person is open to their own tastes, desires in music. For example, we went through all of 21 Pilots music. 21 Pilots is pretty much known for Stressed Out, a song from their second album, technically 3rd album, but second album by many measures, called Blurry Face. And when I started going through their music, I didn't even know that was theirs. And so anyways, their music is so broad, so many different sounds, but they essentially had their first album come out. It was a self-titled album. And then under kind of a new grouping of 2 guys, Josh Dunn and Tyler Joseph, they came up with an album called Vessel, and then Blurry Face, and then a really great album called Trench. And after Trench, we went into COVID, and they produced an album called Scaled and Icy, which also stands for Scaled Back and Isolated. And Tyler talks about his songwriting process. He said that normally Scaled and Icy kind of caught some flack because it was a very different sound, very clean. And so Tyler talked about how he actually, when he writes, tends to write closer to that. And what they do is if you got like really clean over here, then you got kind of grungy over here, that he usually has to come from this place to like pull it over here more. And instead, he really stayed a little bit more to this side as he was producing, and obviously during a strange time as well. I love the Scaled and Icy album, but it is very different. And it's so funny because of some of the response for that. Even this first song on the next album they did called Clancy, it was called Overcompensate. And it was like basically watch me overcompensate, and go way back over to this side. So obviously everybody's open to what they enjoy most from an artist. I think most people were hoping to get another album like Trench, but they got Scaled and Icy, which left some people disappointed. And obviously I come from a side of being able to consume the music, not having to wait years between, with anticipation. What are they going to do next? What's it going to sound like? But I do love, and I think artists need the room to be creative and pursue different sounds. I love how she said that. Like, it's very simple, or natural, not simple, natural for her to kind of go that earthy sound. But she wanted to stretch out and do some things a little bit different. And I think too, as long as it's like not selling out because of corporate pressure or anything like that, and it really is just genuinely somebody who's like, I don't know, I wanted to experiment. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to see, like, could I even create something like this or whatever. So I'm totally here for that and, support those kind of decisions. Okay. This looks like a interview that she did probably in Norwegian. Let's see if we can get a translation. Let's see. It's about something that I think we all think is very, very important. The right to love whoever you want. After all, love is the only beautiful thing we have here on earth. It is so, so strange that homotherapy, as it is called in Norway, is still legal in our country. In our country, it's absolutely horrible. So it's a song about a kind of protest against that we should be allowed to just be who we are. After all, this is the one life we have, so it's that kind of celebration. All right. Track number 5, titled You Keep Me Crawling.
If I keep forgiving, maybe I'll believe that you never meant for life to hurt for me. Maybe I'll recover if you set me free. But why does it make me feel like I am weak and small?
Okay, listen, I don't ever pause in songs, and I don't know that I have the proper word for this. I keep calling it operatic. I don't know if that's, it feels kind of right. Or dramatic, but operatic feels a little bit more like this stage drama. And I think it is just the note that she's singing. Dun, 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 dun. I love it. And I hope that's the right word. If you have a better word for it, let me know.
That you never meant for life to hurt for me. Maybe I'll recover if you set me free. But why does it make me feel like I am weak?
That weak and small.
I keep begging like the animal. Maybe it's because I need to serve someone. So you keep me crawling on my knees. Oh, you keep me crawling on my knees.
Like a James Bond song.
Keep me crawling on my knees. Lord, you keep me crawling on my knees. Lord, you keep me crawling on my knees. Lord, you keep me crawling. Oh, you keep me crawling. Lord, you keep me crawling. If I keep confessing, maybe I'll believe that you never meant for love to hurt for me. Maybe you could feel a little sympathy. will see. Giving into love should never hurt for me. Giving into love should set me free.
Wow. I mean, I already talked about that kind of operatic nature. It reminds me, if you've ever seen The Fifth Element, the opera scene where it's like this space opera, but also this fight going on, and it's super like danceable, but there's also just this really cool operatic, I keep saying operatic, opera type performance going on, and the two meshing together. I don't know, man. It's really incredible. And it sounds like she's probably speaking to a relationship in here, this person that's not treating her well, that in a way has her crawling. And maybe that's like keeps her beat down, keeps her like, even in the last lines, like that love should make her free. But what did she say? Giving into love should never hurt for me. Giving into love should set me free. And it could be this maybe relationship of a person that, it's true, like love shouldn't treat you like that. And some people treat other people like that and they call it love. And that's not what love is. Love should lift a person, not lower them. Love should be freeing, not this binding. This says, I wrote You Keep Me Crawling and Giving In to the Love around the same time. I was just humming the chorus melody all day and decided that it needed to be a song. Came like puke out of my mouth. It's kind of a happy accident of a child. That's awesome. That is one of the most Aurora lines I've ever heard. If I keep forgiving, maybe I'll believe that you never meant for life to hurt for me. Maybe I'll recover if you'd set me free. But why does it make me feel like I'm weak and small? Why do I keep begging like the animal? Maybe it's because I need to serve someone. Wow, it's almost like, too, it's this self-awareness, like she should walk away, but is choosing not to because she feels, and you find that a lot of times in these relationships that are, whether physically or mentally abusive, emotionally abusive, it's like, man, why don't you just walk away? And yet there's this thing inside of them that almost doesn't know what it's like to be free and feels like the only way to survive is to be connected to another person, even if they're not treating them well. Let's see what this says. There's a quotient of self-awareness as in, look at that, dang. I just said that, guys. That makes me feel smart. As the narrator asks themselves why they behave this way. Delivers a similar tone to Aurora's song, I Went Too Far. Yeah, it's true. From her debut album, both showcase an unbalanced relationship with lines from I Went Too Far, such as crying, give me some love, and hold me. Went too far when I was begging on my knees. I went too far, kissed the ground beneath your feet. Although the narrator recognizes the absurdity in it, it's possible she likes it, which is why continues to let it happen. Well, and whether or not she likes it or it's just the only thing that she knows, right? And it becomes this dependency, which is, really tragic for somebody to feel like they have to be stuck in that. Okay. That one was a standout for me. I loved the sound of it. Track number 6, titled Exist for Love. Back to the acoustic.
They say there is a war between the man and the woman.
I love those little embellishments she does.
I've never felt felt like this before. My heart knew that I couldn't.
Well, that's part of being such a gifted vocalist, those tiny little runs.
You take me in, and everything in me begins to feel like I belong, like everybody needs a home. And when I take your hand, like the world has never held a man, I know I cannot heal the hurt, but I will hold you here forever if I can, if I can. And then I learned the truth, how everything good in life seems to lead back to you. And every single time I run into your arms, I feel like I exist for love.
This is a very like vintage feel.
I exist for love, only for love. I can't imagine how it is to be forbidden from loving. 'Cause when you walked into my life, I could feel my life begin, like I was torn apart the minute I was only born. And you're the other half, the only thing that makes me whole. I know it sounds like a lot, but you really need to know we are leaning out for love, and we will lean for love forever. I know I love you so. And then I learned the truth, how everything good in life seems to lead back to you. And every single time I run into your arms, I feel like I exist for love, only for love. And when you say my name, like white horses on the waves, I think it feels the same as an ocean in my veins. And you'll be diving in like nothing is out of place. And we exist for love, only for love. And I love you, I love you, I love you. And I love you, I love you, I love you.
Yeah, that song had this very vintage feel to me. I don't know why, I just picture like, Paris streets and the Eiffel Tower. And I'm trying to figure out if she's speaking about love. Like almost personifying love as a person is the feeling that I get. Because, let's see here. And then we'll see what it ultimately says. You take me in, unless she's speaking about a man, because maybe she's saying there's a war between the man and the woman, but then maybe if she found a man who she loves, because it's almost this idea that, and not to get too deep into it, but obviously if people have been hurt, let's just say we'll take it from my side. I know that there are men that have been hurt by a woman, and it's this toxic kind of masculinity type thing where they think nothing but negative thoughts about women. They'll say, they'll put this blanket statement over all women because they've been hurt by a woman or maybe a couple of different women. And that's just ridiculous because there are so many wonderful women out there. And you turn the other side, and there are awful women out there. So the same side with men. There are wonderful men out there. And I think, unfortunately, some people take this side of like, no, all men are dogs. All men cheat. And it's tragic because some people only have that context. If they've only encountered men that, have these toxic traits of the way that they speak and the way that they act and the way that they think about women, they have no context for anything outside of that. And I hate that. And so you can easily apply these big blanket statements. And so there are many that may feel there's this war between the man and the woman. But it almost seems like in this song, maybe she's saying, so I know that there's meant to be this narrative, this war against men and women, but I've never felt like this before. Like maybe I've found someone who treats me with care and kindness and is delicate with my heart and my feelings. And honestly, masculine men, true men of integrity, men who save their eyes and their mind and their heart for the person they've devoted themselves toward. And on several different songs, I've talked about some of the principles my wife and I try to live by. And one of them that I think is so important that I do see many men failing at is speaking two things: speaking well of their wife or girlfriend or fiance or whatever when she's not around. Because that's true integrity, right? Integrity is what you do when the door is shut, when nobody is listening, when you don't put on a face, when you expose your true self. And that's not for the side. Like, you can confide in a close friend if you're going through something and you want to figure something out. But there's difference between trashing the person you love and speaking to somebody with honesty, trying to reach a solution or an end. And most of the times it's also like you kind of point it back to yourself. It's like, man, I don't know if there's something that I'm doing wrong. And that's generally the case. Anyways, we'll get outside of that. But, also I know a lot of men that when their significant other is not around, the way they talk about other women, or, I do wedding videography, and one time I was at a wedding, and during the dance floor portion or whatever, sometimes it gets a little crazy. And I just remember somebody who I knew was married. This girl was over there like dancing seductively, and somebody that I knew was married made eye contact with me and then was like, look at her. And I was like, no, no, what are you talking? You're married, dude. What are you talking about? Like, no, I'm not going to sit here and like look at this girl and in a way communicate with you like, oh yeah, look at her. Because that's what I think real masculinity looks like, not the crap that we've seen. This, and you can be a strong man. I would consider myself a strong man. I am not a bodybuilder. I am not a mechanic, but I have a strong sense of self-confidence. I have purpose and meaning and intent in my life. I seek to do better each and every day. I fail, whatever. All those, I'm just saying this idea of like what a man is. I feel that I embody that. And part of that is what I've just been discussing. And as well as recognizing, you don't have to be like, oh baby, I'm sorry. How are you today? Oh, like you don't have to be that way to care about your significant other's feelings and emotion and heart, and recognizing they are in many ways, not that you control them, but they are part of you. You are part of them. And it is your duty to help them flourish, to help care for them emotionally, physically, whatever, so that this garden that was put under your care flourishes and blooms and all that. So anyways, what are we even talking about? Yeah, I'm curious. This may not be what the song's about, but it almost sounds like she says she's kind of found this person that makes her feel loved, makes her feel cared for. But Let's go see what the bottom says here. Thank you for that moment with Dr. Malnourished. Exist for Love is the first single following Apple Tree and her collaboration Into the Unknown with Idina Menzel from the soundtrack of Frozen 2 in 2019. The song is a ballad of love, which Aurora remarked on in a tweet. I never thought I would ever write a song about love, but now I am ready. My heart is ready. Yeah, so she encountered somebody that loves her. That's so sweet. She also alluded this could be her first single. What I like about Aphrodite is the personification of love. I love the idea of love, having its own personality and body and being. I wrote it in 2019 when the coronavirus was just a distant thing going on in Wuhan. Then I decided to release it a year before I knew I was going to do the album because I thought the world needed a little love. Behind the scenes of Exist for Love. I need to see, because as always, we'll have music videos, live performances over on Patreon. I need to make sure I have those built in. I love behind the scenes stuff. So let's see. Exist for Love. Yes, okay, I have the music video here. And then I have a live performance. But let me grab these behind the scenes. That's super fun. Sorry. What, y'all want to see my spreadsheet? I can bring you into my spreadsheet. Where are we at? Here. This is how I keep track of everything that's kind of going on over on Patreon. All right, behind the scenes content, fun. Okay, track number 7, titled Heathens.
She bargains with the world, so everything she wants will come to her. With no greed inside her mind, she knows what she deserves. We fell from sky with grace and landed in her soft and warm embrace.
It's Mother Earth.
She gave her love, her gift of life, so we could live.
I'm sure it's a different Greek goddess, but I can't think of the word.
That's why we live like heathens, stealing from the trees of Eden, living in the arms of freedom, and everything we touch is evil. That is why we live like heathens. The stone, the dirt, the dust, the unforgiving promise made to us, unworthy of your light, your God, your touch. We're guided by the lust. We cry the fallen names, we cry for those who burn beneath the flame. We stand beside the good and brave, the broken and enslaved. That is why we live like heathens, stealing from the trees of Eden, living in the arms of freedom, and everything we touch is evil. That is why we live like
It's like chaotic swell.
everything you touch will be hers. A mother with no heart will give love. Her love is yours, but only if you give your heart to her.
It's like wild, chaotic, native.
That is why we live like heathens, singing from the trees of Eden, living in the arms of freedom, and everything we touch is evil. That is why we live like heathens. That is why we live like That is why we live like
So I feel like that's meant to be speaking about the earth. Like I said, I don't know if there's a goddess that represents. I'm sure we'll find out on here what that would be. But it makes me think about the giving tree, because in some way it sounds like earth. Maybe that's where we'll start here. Just see if we can figure out the god or goddess, and then I'll share that. The song is about how Eve took a bite of a forbidden apple, forbidden fruit, hanging from the tree of evil and good, the knowledge of good and evil. In her act of doing so, she granted humans free will. Just think that that was very beautiful, and I wanted to honor her and women like her, who little by little granted us freedom in this world. Interesting take. The mother in this song, she offers love and room and a home to all the people that aren't welcome elsewhere. That's the spirit of the song. It's very inspired by women, especially how many women have been punished and burned just for being women. It's an ode to women. So she bargains with the world, so everything she wants will come to her with no greed inside her mind. She knows what she deserves. We fell from sky with grace. Okay. And landed in her soft and warm embrace. She gave her love, her gift of life, so we could live with her. Okay, interesting. All right. This is The Innocent.
I have been a dancer, but without her feet. I've been a lion, but without its teeth. In the moonlight, I will lie awake, drinking lava from the lake. You give your all in return. You get a spark, and you watch it burn. The innocent life, the innocent touch is drawn for the sake of the torture. Now you are gone, I feel that I'm closer to your heart. You would never let me.
I love this part so much.
You would never let me into your heart. 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 The innocent life, the innocent heart is never enough for the ones who love, the ones who love, the ones who love. The innocent life, the innocent heart is never enough for the ones who love, the ones who love, the ones who love.
What a trip, man. Oh my gosh. Man, I was trying to figure out what to kind of call. Let's hop back in this for a second.
I have been a dancer, but without her.
Like, what do you call that kind of piano keyboard playing? Because at first I wanted to say kind of jazzy, but I don't know if that's the right, because it has this also like kind of vintage, which I know jazz has like a vintage feel to it. Man, I can't put my finger on. It's so interesting.
I have been a dancer, but without.
So yeah, that, and then you almost get this kind of like gospel choir just whoop, whoop coming in.
I've been a lion, but without its teeth. In the moonlight, I will lie awake, drinking love.
Almost like if you recorded a choir and then you kind of just I'm nerding out on this stuff because I started playing in music production like I mentioned, and so even listening to Aurora, like her stuff's so interesting and takes us in a lot of different directions. I mean, you even get these like kind of sci-fi lasers at the end.
It's never enough for the ones who love, the ones who love, the ones who love.
And what's the tribal drums? So I got not necessarily lasers, but this like whirling. Whoa, 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 whoa. So, but I'm telling you, this section right here, you would never let me into your heart, especially when it came in the first time. Where'd it go? Dun, 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 dun. It almost has this like conga.
I don't know why.
This part's so good.
Say goodbye to love. Let me into your heart. You will never let me into your heart. You will never let me into your heart. You will never let.
I don't know. So many interesting things going on within this song. All right, let's take a look. The Innocent. The Innocent, starting with an upbeat piano riff, is arguably the most different track on the album. The song itself is about sexualizing innocent things like our bodies. The Greek god it was inspired by is Eros, otherwise known as Cupid, the god of carnal love. On her Spotify storyline for the song, Aurora said, "Perfection scares me. Our obsession with it scares me even more. That is why I relate to the Greek gods, because they are flawed, and I love the idea of people worshiping something flawed. We are not perfect, and we never will be, and that is quite wonderful." It's the wildest song on the album, I think. I imagine all these people dancing naked around a fireplace. That's very innocent. Our bodies are very pure, beautiful things, and it's a shame that we've managed to make it something not pure. It's the sexualization of innocent things that makes the world dangerous. So I've been a dancer, but without her feet. I've been a lion, but without its teeth. Okay, both of those things become somewhat ineffective, right? I mean, I'm not saying... Let's put aside people that can just do incredible things, all right? So the idea of there are dancers out there that do not have feet, okay? But in the general sense, dancing is typically done with your feet. And so to be a dancer without her feet is kind of like removing this vital part of dancing. A lion without its teeth is this vital part of what makes a lion a lion. In the moonlight, I will lie awake, drinking lava from the lake. Dude, these are intense. Aurora consistently references fire, heat-based substances in the song. This could possibly reference Prometheus. Additionally, through the Christian lens, these hot substances are associated with hell, to which one is sent for sinning. Sins were first created. But is Aurora trying to communicate that? Aurora is embracing this act of handling, breathing, living fire, essentially embracing the essence of life instead of simply living innocently. But I feel like part of what she was saying is like she's trying to bring back some innocence to some of these things, because of her trying to say in a way that we've taken something that could be pure and could be innocent and we have sexualized it. So maybe I'm misreading what that person was saying, because obviously these annotations are crowdsourced. Other than, I like hearing the things that come straight from the artist. I do appreciate people's insights, and sometimes it helps me, but I don't know. I don't fully flow with what that was saying. But yeah, definitely a very different, I mean, as a standout for me, I think it's super fun. But she's definitely experimenting a lot within this album, and I'm here for it. Okay, track number 9, Exhale, Inhale. Maybe it's going to be about just breathing, pausing. We'll see. I like how you can hear her breathing, right?
I was a moving thing before I was a human being. I was the ice before it melts. I was the tree before it fell. My dear, come near. Do you understand what is happening? Crawl beneath the earth to feel the hunger and the thirst. If you could fly and be the bird, then you would see the forest burn. My dear, come near. Do you understand what is happening? Who is calling me for the emergency? Who is listening to the silence singing? We are stood and somehow calm within the madness of a storm, with no solution for the scare, tasting pollution in the air. My dear, come near. Do you feel my hand? It is there. Exhale. Inhale.
Cool.
Inhale. Inhale.
I feel like this album, much like many of her albums, but especially on this album, man, there are depths going on here that you'd really have to play through multiple times. I feel like you'd hear interesting things each time. And of the songs so far on this album, this cover art kind of makes me think of that. Like, this is a very beautiful song, a bit of a haunting element to it. And so I can imagine her in this dress, this red curtain on stage, single spotlight, just singing. And she mentions a siren in here, but almost like a siren song, just funny enough, you know, exhale, inhale, but pulling the breath out of the room. This would be one of those performances that just like, man, you know, if it went on longer, you shed a tear. If it was a film, she'd be singing and be cutting to the audience. And then at the end, boom, single tear rolls down the face of somebody in the audience. So beautiful, man. I love this exhale, inhale, because even the way she sings it sounds like an exhale and an inhale.
Exhale, inhale, exhale.
Which I know it depends on like how fast you exhale and inhale, but it sounds like this. Exhale, inhale, exhale. It's just really interesting. I got to use the transition because, you know, it would break the flow of how we do things. So just, you know. Here I am again. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Exhale, inhale starts with Aurora humming, transitions into a bouncy, minimal synth production, serves as one of the more calm songs. Yes. The lyrics of the song are reminiscent of climate change, talk about trees falling, ice melting, painting a picture in front of the eyes. The chorus bears a reference to wisdom cries. Okay. As for the Greek god it was inspired by, there actually two. Oasis, the goddess of misery, anxiety, grief, and depression, and Thanatos, the god and personification of death. I think very carefully about how I place the songs on every album. I knew that after The Innocent, I would want something extremely open to remind people to breathe again. Exhale, inhale is about breath, to remember to breathe, about anxiety for yourself, for the world, for your part in this world. So I wonder if she's speaking here about maybe more of this like broader spiritual connection to the world, kind of like I was a moving thing, I was this thing, spirit, soul, however you want to define it, before kind of coming into being. Or, I mean, because there's also I was the ice, but I was the tree. So maybe it's just more of this larger connection of a living universe that then there is some in body form in nature. Because I feel like she's just trying to give this bigger picture. I don't know that she's necessarily identifying or giving a complete answer to the I, but just this connecting force in things and maybe remembering that. Because I think obviously Aurora would be critical of humans domineering over the earth in obviously such a destructive way. In a sense, a taking for granted or an entitlement to the earth. I do believe that we are meant to steward the earth and that we are meant to live upon it, expand upon it, but to be thoughtful and caring and to take care of what we've been given. It's interesting, even from a biblical sense, if you want to speak against materialism or that not stewarding well what has been put in our hands. It's interesting because even when God lays out for the people of Israel, as he's giving the law, he lays out even how we should care for fields and the idea of Sabbaths, and also, so a Sabbath rest, 6 days you work, 1 day you rest. But there are also Sabbath years in which you're meant to let the earth rest. And there's even the idea of cycling of crops in different fields and letting certain fields rest and growing what is in season, and all of these thoughtful practices that are ultimately meant to lead to a thriving and lush earth while still being able to take care of the things, to take care of people. And obviously we've kind of busted that through engineering, through technology, that we kind of have whatever we want at all times. And in that idea of letting certain things rest, I would say, like, humanity as a whole, obviously there are people and places and that still exist that have more thoughtful practice. But the idea of industry is just, we want what we want all the time, and we will create and plant and reap and harvest and whatever, whenever. So I'm probably not laying that out in the most clear way, but I think you understand what I'm saying, that it kind of feels like Aurora is speaking against that to some extent, trying to make us more conscious, of how we're treating things. If you could fly and be the bird, you would see the forest burn. Who's calling me for the emergency? Wisdom cries also fits exhale, inhale's overall meaning, because according to Aurora, wisdom cries is about humans in the world. Who's listening to the sirens singing? Who's calling me for the emergency? That's interesting. Using sirens in this way as singing, but also you can tie it to emergency, that maybe these sirens singing are not necessarily the same sirens we would think of as these wooing entities, but more so that there's this siren going off. Like, who's listening to the sirens that are sounding, the alarm bells, ultimately, I think is what she's trying to communicate there. Let me know if you have any other insight or thoughts on that. All right, this is track number 10, titled A Temporary High. Okay, it's like club beat. Like we were outside the club, now we're coming inside.
It seems like we like to be living dangerously. Our heart sings a temporary lie. It seems like madness could be endlessly. Her love is a temporary high, and you're running to the shore, howling at the waves, howling back at you. When you're ahead, she's coming after, and when you run, she's running faster. And when she loves you, better hope her love is not a temporary high. Your body was warm when she was cold. You would long for love. Her storm was a temporary light, and I guess you froze when the storm blew away her clothes, and you never got warm again. Your hands as blue as ice, you reach towards the sky, reaching back at you. When you're ahead, she's coming after, and when you run, she's running faster. And when she loves you, better hope her love is not a temporary high. And when you run, she's running faster. And when she loves you, better hope her love is not a temporary high. Her hands as blue as ice, you reach towards the sky, reaching back at you. When you're ahead, she's coming after, and when you run, she's running faster. And when she loves you, better hope her love is not a temporary high. And when you run, she's running faster. And when she loves you, better hope her love is not a temporary high.
You just cannot sleep on Aurora's music production. Really great to see Magnus's name in the credits on that song. It has this kind of like 80s dance vibe. Hoo hoo. Dude, this song is so cool. I'm just surprised each and every track how interesting and different they are. I honestly can't wait to listen to this album, like just boom, 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 one after the other, because it's just so interesting. Okay, let's take a look here. And it's funny, because I'm trying to like not take a lot of the songs at face value on this album, because obviously she's sung about things that are not necessarily about the climate or things like that within this album. So then I am trying to figure out like, is this actually a relationship song? Yes, I nailed the song. Has strong 80s influence. A temporary high is inspired by a woman that is very fascinating. If she was your present, she would be confusing. If she was your past, you wouldn't be able to escape her. If she is your future, you won't be able to keep up with her. What? She is this force to be reckoned with. I need to make sure I think I have live performances for most of the songs on this album. Yeah, I do. But there's so many versions, man. Because this stage one is different than the one. I have some sort of studio one. But the one that they're showing here. Oh, we got a music video for that too? I think I have that on there. Yeah, I do. Okay, cool. Sounds old school. I love it. Album has 0 skips. Agree. 80s vibes are immaculate. Come on, Magnus. Shout out. Aurora made blinding lights. I love the way that she described it, dude. She's just like this woman, this force that you cannot keep up with. Her love is a temporary high. I loved too how she did this. She talked about howling at the waves, howling back at you, but then she also mentioned the sky in a similar fashion. Right. You reach toward the sky, reaching back at you. Again, kind of the same with that howling at the waves, howling back at you. Okay. Track 11, titled A Dangerous Thing.
Something about you is soft like an angel, and something inside you is violence and danger. I knew from the moment we met, you are a dangerous thing. When you are with me, I feel like I'm living, and living beside you can be unforgiving. I knew from the very first day, you are a dangerous thing. There's no end to the fall, you keep on getting better, I keep forgetting. There's no love in the end, I hope you come. I keep on losing feathers, I keep forgetting. There's no love in the end, in the end. No love in the end, no love in the end. Something about you is warm and seductive, but when you're with me, you're cold and abusive. I knew from the second we met, you are a dangerous flame. You are a dangerous flame.
I love how she sings that so softly.
There's no end to the fall, you keep on getting better, I keep forgetting. There's no love in the end, I hope you come. I keep on losing feathers, I keep forgetting. There's no love in the end, no love in the end, no love in the end, no love in the end. No love in the end, no love in the end, no love in the end. I don't think I know myself without your help. I wonder why I got a heaven deep inside of me. I keep the light on, it keeps me warm. I hate it when I fall for your illusion of love. I know this is not love. There's no end to the fall, you you keep on getting better. There's no love in the end, I hope you're gone. I keep on losing feathers, I keep forgetting. There's no love in the end, there's no end to the fall. You keep on getting better, I keep forgetting. There's no love in the end, I hope you're gone. I keep on losing feathers, I keep forgetting. There's no love in the end, 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 no love in the end.
With the thick bass line, boom, boom, boom. Man, the thing about Aurora's vocal ability is, I think that she can ultimately do anything that she wants vocally. Such a superpower. It gives her this ability to really write interesting melodies because she can do whatever she wants with her voice. That even you come in with this acoustic guitar, but then this incredibly nuanced melody with her vocals. She's just able to take something that could be very ordinary and elevate it and make it so unique and so interesting. Trying to figure out with this song, obviously it sounds like somebody that, like maybe a relationship that ultimately doesn't go well. Trying to figure out the idea of no love in the end. Is it just that, is she trying to say like ultimately the love won't last, that people eventually fade out? Or I guess in a sense, is she trying to say that it's kind of hopeless to have this long-term relationship? I'm not saying that's what she's saying. That's just kind of the first thoughts that roll through my mind. Because even the idea of her saying that she keeps losing feathers. Let's see. Because it seems to start off like kind of positive and there are these positive swings to it, but then there are kind of these negative pieces that almost feels like she's losing pieces of herself throughout this relationship. She talks about an illusion for love. So it says the Greek god it was inspired by is Peitho, the personification of seduction and persuasion. There is a lot of beauty in this world, and there's a lot of ugly. I was surprised to learn how often the ugly is disguised as beauty, how often poison is disguised as wine, and life disguised as death. And when we learn that we thought was, and when we learn that what we thought was good for us is in fact bad for us, even then we tend to go return to it, because at least it's familiar, and all we ever dream about is home, seductive yet destructive, a dangerous thing indeed. So no, I mean, it doesn't seem like she's making a declaration that like all love is hopeless, but also that she is trying to call out, as she has in some previous albums, these, I guess, people that kind of come with good intentions at the front, but ultimately are not good underneath and in the long term. Because something about you is soft like an angel, and something inside you is violence and danger. I knew from the moment we met you are a dangerous thing. So almost like she had these ideas, that maybe there's something going on there. And when you were with me, I feel like I'm living. And living beside you can be unforgiving. I knew from the very first step you are a dangerous thing. So there's an allure there, even though knowing what is underneath isn't good. Losing feathers could have multiple meanings, all of them bad, with graphic imagery of a wearied being suffering and losing what keeps them aloft. There is no end to this fall, no coming back from this. Or the idea that from the beginning, the highest point, there is, which I guess it is no coming back from this. It's just a continuous descent. I do like this idea, a reference to the story of Icarus, who in his hope flew too close to the sun, causing him to lose his wax-knit feathers and fall to his death. Whole albums packed with references, implicit and explicit, to Greek mythology, the core human traits the stories address, in this case, love, loss, and hope. Could also be a reference to Emily Dickinson's poem, Hope is the Thing with Feathers. Hope is likened to a bird in the poem, so in the context of the song, the narrator is losing hope that things will get better. I like that idea of Icarus, whether it's intended or not. It is, I think, a good analogy. The idea of flying close to the sun, like you're drawn in by it, or these heights. But as you're there, this person and maybe their toxicity, all it does is begin to strip away the good that exists in you, and then you begin falling. Because the other, verse 2, something about you is warm and seductive, and when you're with me, you're cold and abusive. I knew from the second we met you are a dangerous flame. All right. Track number 12, titled Artemis.
What will you do when she drinks the sea? Drown her in sorrow or let her be free? When she's upset, all of her heart is cold. What will you do when she eats the moon? Make her return it or give her a spoon? When she is full, all of her heart is warm. The mother made us a savage daughter who never begs for forgiveness. I always wondered why they all came back for more.
What do you call that instrument?
What will you do when she takes your throne? Beg for her power or throw her a bone? All that she has traded for love is yours. What will you do when she takes off her clothes? Beg for her body or touch her soul? When you're alone, dreaming of her, you sigh. The mother made us a savage daughter who never begs for forgiveness. I always wondered why they all came back for more. The gods have made us a virgin hunter who in the storm becomes stillness. I always wondered why they all came back for more. Came back for more.
It's interesting how she blends these different, because, okay, first and foremost, I can't remember the name of that instrument. I'm sure it'll be in there. It sounds like the accordion. That's what I was looking for. It sounds like an accordion. will confirm that. So you kind of have this like mafia sounding, walking along the river in Venice at night type of feel. And then obviously her vocals continue at times to bring in these kind of tribal, like especially toward the end. It just feels like these kind of sounds from different cultures that she's able to blend in, not only within songs, but inside the album. And these songs, I mean, many of her songs on previous albums are fairly cryptic, but I feel like more than probably any other album, these ones are, cryptic's the best word I have for it. Artemis in Greek mythology is the goddess of the moon and hunt. She is the counterpart to her twin brother Apollo, who is the god of the sun and medicine. She is one of the three virgin goddesses, alongside Athena and Hestia. I wanted this song to feel slightly dangerous and slightly seductive, but overwhelming as well. I think if Artemis was a real woman here on Earth, she would be all-consuming and all-knowing and overwhelming, everything and nothing at the same time. I think she is the kind of woman that if she decided that she was thirsty, she could drink all of the water on the whole planet and still not be full, you know? This album is conceptual the right word for it? Because she obviously has messages that she's conveying, but I almost feel like she had more of this concept, and maybe, you know, through looking at a list of Greek gods and goddesses, was probably like reading about them and then just had these different sounds or feelings or emotions that they evoked in her. And then she tried to capture that musically and whatever kind of idea was coming to her mind. So I don't even know that it's so much about like, again, different songs serve different things, right? So I think there are some very forward things she's saying in some songs, but a lot of them, and she kind of said this in her own words several songs back, is there's just kind of this open to interpretation that I feel in some of this, it's more like she's conveying a feeling through the words, and then whatever that feeling is or whatever it kind of invokes in you is, she's really leaving that open to interpretation. But it sounds like this kind of consuming force. The mother made us a savage daughter who never begs for forgiveness. I always wondered why they all came back for more. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like even the seductress in a sense, you know, like, why do you keep coming back when I take everything from you, but yet you can't resist? It's really interesting. Okay. Track number 13, titled Blood in the Wine. You get kind of these tribal drums, this like Amazonian cry.
I was given a heart before I was given a mind, a thirst for pleasure and war, a hunger we keep inside. We fell from sky with grace, and life gave us a sweeter taste. You can drink, you can feast, there's beauty in your beast. The flesh and the fruit and the blood in the wine. Come and feel alive, lover. Come and feel the love. Like I said, I shout it louder, shout it what I want. You could never say no, won't feel shame. Mother, can you break the chains of a shout it louder, not a sinner, she's a lover. lives in your hands, and grass burning in promised lands. You can drink, you can feast. There's beauty in your being. The flesh and the fruit and the blood in the world. Feel alive, lover. Come and feel the love like a sinner. Shout it louder, shout it for the ones who could never say no. Feel the shame, mother. Can you break the chains of a shout it louder, louder, sinner. She's a lover. Come and feel the life, come and feel the love. Shout it louder, shout it for the ones who could never say I won't feel the shame. Mother, can you break the chains of a shout it louder, louder, sinner, she's a lover.
I almost feel like some of her vocals within that, especially the chorus, almost fit this like older rock. Like if you were to rework the song and bring in some more rock type instrumental and possibly the structure of the song, I feel like those vocals could fit within this like older kind of rock sound. The song itself is inspired by Dionysus, the Greek god of wine and pleasure, otherwise known to the Romans as Bacchus, the god of wine and vegetation. The symbolism is very inspired by religious terms. I get a lot of inspiration from faith because it's so complex. This song is about the whole complexity in this relationship. I think it's important for me that people find their own meaning in this song, but I would love people to feel strengthened by it. Go on, Aurora, you're not giving us any answers. I was given a heart before I was given a mind. So that feels like more so a following of passion before thought, a thirst for pleasure and war, a hunger we keep inside. We fell from the sky with grace, and life gave us a sweeter taste. You can drink, you can feast, there's beauty in your beast. All right, track number 14, This Could Be a Dream.
Or it could be real. Dive into my mind and don't come up for air. You won't need it here. Can I move you? Can I soothe your fear? Could you trust love if I prove it's there? Oh, I need
trumpet.
Longing to live, and I lift myself and I close my eyes and I sing sometimes to know I'm alive. I know I should figure this out on my own, but if you come by, could you take me home? I get back up when the wind is strong, but I wish I knew how it felt to run. I know I'm not alone, and if you come by, could you take me home? This could be And I lift myself and I close my eyes and I sing sometimes to know I'm alive. I know I should figure this out on my own, but if you come by, will you take me home? I get back up when the wind is strong, but I wish I knew how it felt to run. I know I'm not alone, and if you come, could you take me home?
Probably the most orchestral song on the album. I love the soft trumpet coming in. I think it's interesting, that idea of getting back up when the wind is strong, but I wish I knew what it felt like to run. Almost sounds like this idea of when there's difficulty, when the wind is blowing strong against you and you've fallen down, like you're going to endure, you know what I mean? You're going to get back up, but you haven't quite felt what it's like to just run, because maybe you keep feeling hindered and you keep getting knocked down. And so, yes, you will endure, but man, it would feel good to just run for once. It's kind of what it feels like to me. This Could Be a Dream is the second longest song on the album. The song itself is about people who cannot walk or stand up and living with the dream of being able to move freely, both mentally and physically. The Greek god it was inspired by was Morpheus, the primordial god of dreams. Oh, which is really cool when you think about the Matrix. He shaped and formed dreams, which meant he was a messenger of the gods, being able to send divine messages to sleeping people in the mortal realm. Okay, so maybe it is this idea of dreaming, of desire to accomplish something that you haven't been able to. You know, again, whether that's physically or mentally, and that's kind of what I was talking about a second ago, that feeling of being beat down. It's like, man, I wish I could feel what it's like to just run. I wrote this very late, so it was completely dark the whole time. I was thinking about people's dark hours, and I wanted to make a song for those who never learned to dance and run because they're just managing to stand up. It takes so many muscles for a human body to even stand up, so I can understand why people can't find the strength for it. It's very hard to be a human, and I'm just saddened by the idea that some people never get to explore their own full potential because they constantly have to simply fight for the right to exist. That just breaks my heart, so I wanted to make a song for them. I think it's really beautiful. And yeah, you get the mention of home in there. I wish I could give like I'm longing to give. I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. Man. It's a really beautiful song. Probably of the messages within this album, that one speaks to me the loudest. Okay. Time to see how she closes this album out. Are we going to get a another head bopper? We're going to get something more introspective. Let's find out. This is track number 15, titled A Little Place Called the Moon. Starting out with acoustic again, okay. I think this is really nice, especially coming off the previous song. Well, she provides a very thoughtful end to the album. And I think it does flow nice off of the previous song, especially the speaking of people's desire to move forward, and even the idea of going to the moon kind of sounds like this, like surpassing those struggles to an extent, this idea of ascending. And she is good about at the close of many of her albums, providing kind of this space to sit in what it is that you just experienced. Longest song on the album, almost completely composed of Aurora's voice. The god it was inspired by was the Titan Astrius, the Titan god of stars, planets, and the art of astrology. A little place called the Moon has been in the back of my head for a long time, before I decided to finally record it. It's the most spiritual song. I feel very in touch with a lot of ancient and spiritual things. I'm imagining you and me and all of us just standing up, walking towards something great and hopeful and beautiful that lies there, far ahead in our future. And eventually, we're all going to the moon. I just like the idea of all of us going to the moon. We'll get to look down at ourselves from up there, see how small and beautiful and large we are at the same time. Yeah, as it is with many of the songs on this album, I do feel, again, that she kind of just has this like feeling. Because I can see that, I almost see this almost like people kind of walking to the end of something, and this moment in which they're stepping off and then just beginning to ascend up. These kind of figures that change as they ascend up toward the moon. And it's almost this kind of line of people, moving into that place, which is somewhat reminiscent of the idea of, was it Mothership or something like that? The idea that these beings would come and take away from the earth those that were not necessarily made for the earth. So, yeah, again, I'd kind of have to go back and listen through the album from beginning to end and really just feel all those ebbs and flows that exist within it. Because even one of the previous songs, one of the notes said, that she really wanted to kind of start with this guitar because the previous song ended with a guitar. So I don't know if concept or conceptual is the best way to describe this album. But I guess in a sense, because you have albums that kind of paint this whole picture across. That's not really what I feel like here. Not really any kind of narrative as much as these feelings that she had for each one that she tried to embody in music and lyrically, and then in many ways leave it up to us to respond to it, connect to it in the way that, feels right to us. So, well, that is The Gods We Can Touch from Aurora, released in 2022. Let me know your thoughts on the album. What are some of your favorite songs? What stands out to you? Is there anything you saw that I didn't see or that you want to point out? We always have great discussion in the comments. Again, if you want more Aurora, feel free to check me out on Patreon. We have a growing library of Aurora live performances, music videos, interviews, behind the scenes, all the good stuff, among many other artists. So feel free to give it a look, but I'd love to have a conversation in the comments. Thanks for hanging out with me for this one. I hope to see you in the next one, because we're eating good.